The common thread amongst those people that will come out shortly and be presenting their poems and really parts of their lives. The common thread is some kind of connection to war, either as a soldier, a veteran, or as a family member of a soldier or veteran. That's the common thread, as it's about the suffering of the human soul and the question of whether it's possible to bring people together in order to heal, and whether it's possible to make that healing something tangible enough that it could be passed on to the next generation the way wars are passed down to the next generation.
Fever. I'm the mother of retired Army Specialist Rory Dunn. Today, May 26, 2008, is the 4th anniversary to the day that my son was blown up in Iraq by a roadside bomb. That day was also his 22nd birthday. On that day, my son, with his eyes blown from his head, with his forehead crushed from ear to ear, and with the right side of his face gone, maintained his weapon, got to his feet, and attempted to stand down to secure the perimeter as he had been trained. It took 3 men to get him to the ground and on a stretcher, where he finally became unconscious. At home, well, us mothers, we wait. I would like to share with you sound bites. This is what I experienced at my home in Seattle on that same day. If you would please close your eyes, I'd appreciate it. Please close your eyes. Sound bites. Hello? Yes? Mother? Captain? The roadside? Cannot say. Sustained? Don't know. Fallujah, Baghdad, Landstuhl. Critical? Open head trauma. Our boy. Aisle or window seat.
Good evening. I'm Stanley Fever. Earlier this evening, you heard my wife give you some sound bites when we were notified that her son had been injured in Iraq. That airplane that she spoke of at the end took us, our family, on a 4-year journey. It started in Landstuhl, it continued for over a year at Walter Reed, and then continued to this day. Our son had received a severe traumatic brain injury. He wasn't originally expected to live. He wasn't expected, if he did live, to be able to walk or talk. But I'm happy to tell you that his recovery has been far greater than anyone could have imagined. And tonight you'll see him perform on this stage. Oh. Throughout his time in the Army medical system. And I'll talk more about that later. During our family's time at Walter Reed, we would walk the halls, we would walk around, taking him to and from various appointments or trying to get to his room. And I was astonished by the number of individuals I saw with horrifying injuries, the amputations, the disfiguring facial injuries, the traumatic brain injuries, the paralysis from spinal cord injuries, burn victims. And I was shocked at the number and the severity of these wounds. I hadn't heard of that from the press. At that time, they'd talk a little bit about a few wounded along with the dead, but they wouldn't talk about the severity of these wounds. And I didn't initially know how to deal with it, because we came to know so many of these wonderful young soldiers, young men and women. We learned they were still people. After they certainly had tremendous challenges, but they were getting on with their lives, and they were just wonderful people. So if you ever meet one, please just talk to them. My poem is called The Halls of Knowing. Walk the halls. Walk the halls with your eyes open, and you will begin to know the truth of it. Look at each of them. Don't be afraid. They are still the same. Look into their eyes, if they are still there. Look into their hearts, if they aren't. Look at their missing limbs. They already know. You can't avoid it. They already know. Look at their burns, their scars. They already know. You can't avoid it. They already know. Changed forever, but still the same. Husbands, wives, fathers, sons, mothers, daughters, brothers and sisters. They are changed forever, but they are still the same.
I served in Iraq. Today is exactly 4 years to the day I was blown up 2 IEDs, 155 rounds, daisy chain. But I got a little story. I'm a survivor. You know, the physical wounds, they've started to heal. But the emotional wounds, I don't know how that will ever heal. You can't just, you know, it blew me up pretty bad, and I still remember. I'd like to tell you guys about 2 guys that I served with, James Lambert and Richard Grossos. I refer to the Iraq War as the War on America. So the domino effect of bringing it back, you know, this war overseas, it's coming back harder on the U.S. than it could ever imagine. So Richard Grossos was Mexican-American, Hispanic. He was 18 years old, and he really believed that it was his duty to serve our country. Now, he had probably the best moral ethics I've ever met a human being. He was gracious, kind, always there to help. Now, this kid could run his 2-mile PT test in 11 minutes and 15 seconds. It's 2 miles, not stopping in between each mile, 11 minutes and 15 seconds. I think he should have been on our Olympic team. So he had a baby girl, which was born probably the day before he was killed in Iraq. He never got to lay eyes on his baby girl. He never got to see her, hold her. And now today is the day he was killed in Iraq. His little girl will be 4 years old probably yesterday. And he's not there